Yeah, I did.
You remember the solution to that?
Put in the password for me.
Okay, I'm fine.
He said it should work.
I figured it'll start fundraising. We're approving it overnight. And that's what I wanted. They wanted the last one, so I'm like, no, I want him here to talk to the board, so the board has questions.
Second, 2024 Board of Education meeting to order. Our first activity will be the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the consent agenda. So we have two items. First will be the approval of the minutes of the December 18, 2023 board meeting, as well as the statement of receipts and expenditures for December 23. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
First and second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes. We'll hand it off now for the Woodview presentation.
Yes, thanks to Ms. Schwensen and her team for hosting us tonight. So we're excited to hear the great things happening here at Woodview. Excited to see the rock out front. So better together, seeing that lit up. But turn it over to Jill.
Okay, thanks for coming. We're happy to have you guys here tonight. I just want to start by saying a personal thank you. This is my third year here, so every year I take a picture on the first day with the fingers for the year. So hopefully I'll run out of fingers at some point and still be taking pictures. And if you can't tell by the picture on the right, I actually really enjoy my job quite a bit, especially when I get to dress like an elf and have fun with the kids. So I love being here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to share our students and staff with you. That's what I prefer over standing up and talking in front of you. So we're going to start by talking about what's new at Woodview, and then this year we stuck to the Better Together theme, as you saw outside on the rock, and we're going to feature our encore staff. So you'll hear from art, music, and PE, and some of our students are going to tell you a little bit about what they're learning. We have several videos to kind of show you some things, so, and then we'll finish it up if you have any questions. We always like to highlight all the good that we're doing here, and we're very proud. We've talked about this already at school board meeting, but we also wanted to just talk one more time that this year our overall score improved by 1.2 points again. We saw improvements in achievement, target group outcomes, and on track to graduation with our report card, and 89.6 is the highest score we've ever received. So we are proud of how hard our staff is working and how hard our kids are working on the things that make us great. Some really cool new things are happening this year. I had to do a little graph because this is the first day that we offered breakfast when we came back. On 1, 2, 3 students took it. On day 2, we were up to 44. So you can see the kids are absolutely loving the opportunity to have breakfast here in the morning. One student told Mrs. Binder one day that breakfast is her favorite reason to come to school now. So we appreciate your support in bringing breakfast to the elementaries. It's really wonderful, and it helps our students be able to keep their minds working throughout the morning. Some of those kiddos eat really late, so breakfast helps. Girls on the Run is going to be coming to Woodview. My understanding is it was here in the past at some point. I think it may have kind of fizzled out with COVID. But Mrs. Kirchhoff and Miss Frank are going to be our coaches this spring. I know Mrs. Kirchhoff is here, so we're very grateful that our girls in grades 3 through 5 will have that opportunity. So the rock that was painted today, thanks to several different tools to get the ice off of it, that may have included a blowtorch and a heating gun. But anyway, it's really going to be an opportunity through PTG for our families to celebrate. Kennedy is also going to have this. It was kind of a joint partnership we're excited to offer to families. They'll be able to reserve it and write a paint happy birthday to their child on it. So we just wanted to give you a little visual of what that will look like. So we're excited. That'll be coming very soon. We have lots of new staff here and in the district, so we wanted to highlight, in our teaching staff, we have a new first grade teacher, Mrs. Kirchhoff, who's here this evening, Mr. Mettinger teaching PE, who's here, Mrs. Ward, who's teaching music, also here, and then in special ed, we have Michelle Nordland. We also have some new paraprofessionals here, Mrs. McNeil, who's here, a parent, and a special ed para. Julie Shaw joins us as a special ed para, and Laura Wollersheim is in the library here. All amazing additions to our staff, and we're very happy to have them. And then interventionists and district-wide that help us out. We have Karen, our interventionist, Lorraine in instructional media, Jana in EL, and Mrs. Mack in Director of Pupil Services, which has been a great addition for us here. So speaking tonight, and also our spelling bee champion, we were so excited, Anna Borgenhagen. We just wanted to celebrate her for a minute. If you can't tell by the pictures, she was equally shocked and excited when she realized she won. So very proud of her. The winter music concerts just happened this past Friday. Mrs. Ward, for the first time here, did an amazing job. I got numerous parents that came up to me afterwards, just impressed with we had kindergartners doing large speaking parts that were quite impressive. So it was really wonderful celebration. So that was a great day for us. All right. We're going to turn it over at this point. We're going to highlight our Encore staff, and I'm going to let them talk. We'll start with Mr. Birch.
Sure. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe. The kids call me Mr. Birch. Can you all hear me? This is my big moment. This is my first school board meeting ever. So, in all my years of education. Yeah, I'm a second-year teacher here, so I guess I'm the veteran staff of the Encore crew. My philosophy for art is quite simple. I want kids to come to art class and think like real artists. And that doesn't always happen in art class. I like art because there are open-ended problems that kids get to solve. And I think that art class is a fantastic place for kids to learn from each other and explore the kind of thinking, 21st century skills, creativity is pretty important stuff. So. Grafton has been an awesome fit because I think it really is a special place. And it's a special place because of the people, mostly. The kids are fantastic. From day one, parents are coming in and asking how they can help, buying me spirographs and stuff like that. And I had Candy Gibson in today, who is the president of the Cedarburg Artist Guild, but the real reason why she was here is because she has 2 grandkids, and she was teaching me how to kiln wash my shelves. She's a potter, and so it's just been overwhelming the amount of support that I've received coming here. And anyway, I don't know why I'm nervous. I never get nervous. So anyway, next slide. I had the opportunity to go to a workshop in Milwaukee, and I think that at first I thought they were sending the wrong person because it was a writing workshop, but it was at an art museum. And I got to see these kids get really excited about, walking around a museum, getting inspired by a piece of art, and then writing a story. And I felt like the bar was set really, really high, and the kids met that bar. And I thought to myself, how can I get kids excited about literacy in art class? I think, what the heck, I went to a writing workshop, so. So we Next slide. I got a book on how to make books. And so we made a beautiful book. Each kid made a beautiful book. And that was my job, was to show them how to make a book. And then it was their job to put beautiful ideas inside of it. And so each kid would be able to tell me a story of some kind, whether it's just images or whether it's something from their poetry unit they were just coming off of. So 4th and 5th graders just finished up a poetry unit. I had them bring their computers, and they were sending me to the printer, and we're printing things off. And so back right here, we have all these really, really cool books. And it was really beautiful because I took really a hands-off approach. You know, when I saw spelling errors, when I saw, you know, actually I'm the worst speller, so I couldn't help Anna with her book. But so anyway, it was really, really cool just to have them show me. You know, it was a great opportunity, like a real creative problem, fill a book. And book arts is one of those things where it's just art that you flip. And so you just got to keep people wanting to come through. And this place was buzzing in the library. We had kids really excited to read each other's books. I think that's fantastic. And some of them are done, you know, but they want to have them out here. And so feel free to check these out. In fact, we have a couple of students that want to read theirs to you right now. So Anna, we'll have you come on up. Hold this? Sure. Or I'll hold it and you can.
So one of the things we learned during our poetry unit was that poetry isn't just writing, it's also songs. So I found some poetic lines from my songs, from songs from my favorite artist, Taylor Swift, and I put them in a book, and then I drew images that I thought of when I listened to the lyrics. Like, there was this one from a song called New Year's Day, where I figured, oh, I like that song, I'm going to put a high heel drawing right next to it. And I just kind of continued and added little decorations, and it was a really great experience.
Cool, thanks. And then Lily has a book. Hi, Lily.
Hello? Am I allowed to read my book?
Yeah, you can read it.
Okay. I have lots of dreams. Many people do. Going someplace new. Hawaii, Alaska, Rome, London, New York. To doing fun activities. Skydiving, scuba diving, parasailing. Everyone has dreams, just like you.
And there's also a really cool section on the back. Hey, so what did you like most about the book arts project? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. All right. I really just liked making the book and filling it up with my poem and making lots of little drawings for it.
We all liked it too. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, guys.
It's really easy.
Good evening. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, school board, for inviting me here to speak this evening. Share a little bit about myself. As you see on there, I'm a Grafton grad, so somebody somewhere down the line did something right to draw me back in here and come back. This is my 6th year teaching, first year at Woodview. I taught 5 years at high school, Dominican High School in Whitefish Bay. Then I took a hiatus to be a stay-at-home parent. During that time, I always had people ask me, and kind of fits in with the next, why is Grafton a good fit? I've always asked me, are you ever going to get back into education? And my response was always, and I probably get asked this weekly, was it had to be the perfect storm. It had to be the perfect storm. It had to be right fit for the family, right fit for me, and this is it. Coming back, I have 2 boys that are here at Woodview, 5th grader and a 2nd grader. I have a love for Grafton. I still live here. I grew up here. I know a lot of people here, some members on the school board I've known for quite a while. I coached Mark's children in baseball for the longest time since they were yay big. So very happy to be here in Grafton, especially as a teacher here at Woodview. My philosophy is pretty simple. Let's make lifelong movers. In the realm of PE, especially at the elementary level, is how do we get kids interested in movement some way, shape, or form? They're not all going to come out and be basketball, soccer players, but how do we get them interested in staying active for a lifetime, and whatever that may be. And maybe they find that niche, or at least the love for it that I can introduce them to at this level. My highlights for tonight, I had reached out probably right after Thanksgiving to all of our staff here at Woodview, and it was based on my two children coming home with our new amplified curriculum we have here at school, and they're both complaining about kind of how rigorous it is and some of the things they were doing in it. And as a teacher myself, I giggled a little bit at them, and they were showing me some of the stuff, and I said, oh yeah, that is kind of rigorous. So I reached out to the staff here and I said, hey, if there's any way I can help, cross-curricular in my PE classroom, please let me know. Third grade had reached out, and second grade had reached out. Third grade, we incorporated, they were doing vocab, and it had to do with their ancient Rome unit, which I have a short video I'll show you here. So we did a little vocab relay race. They had to go down, get all the different vocab words and the definition for them, and then they had to work as a team, put them together. And they had been through the units that we worked on already, so they were able to work together. You'll see in the video. And then second grade, they have weekly spelling tests, and neither of my children had weekly spelling tests. I can remember them growing up having them all the time. So my son had said, he was having an okay time with them, but he said his class was always complaining about him. And I said, well, let's find a way to make it fun in PE and use their weekly spelling words. Did the same thing. We did a relay race, and I actually found that took a lot of time. And after that, I did it a different way. We were playing different tag games in there, and when kids got out, they had a couple different ways to get back in. One of the ways they could get in was raise their hand. Mr. M would come running over, and they had to spell one of their words on their spelling list in order to get back in the game. So they seemed to love it. All the kids wanted to spell words. They were raising their hands, running around having a good time. So without further ado, we'll show. Second grade, we're working in a basketball unit from there. Dribbling down, working on the dribbling skills. they had to run down, or drill down, drill back, and throw it together. And the third grade one is pretty similar here. Thank you again. Let me share some of the fun and learning we've had.
Hello, I'm Brittany Ward. As you can see, this is my first year here at Woodview Elementary. This is year 14 of teaching for me, and something that I think really drives the way I teach is that this is my life. Like, I wanted to be a music teacher since I was 7 years old. And so teaching elementary music is a strong passion of mine. And so part of my philosophy, I was introduced about 5 or 6 years ago when I was getting my master's in music education to this idea of what if our young learners were given the tools to be lifelong musicians. So just like Joe and Ryan, we make a great team because all of us want our students to start here but just continue on. And I also really feel strongly about creating a community that are going to be musicians. And I'm actually part of the Ozaukee County Chorus, and I was just imagining some of these little kids hopefully maybe being in the chorus with me someday would be just amazing. Why Grafton has been a great fit for me is I currently live in Port Washington. I have for about 8 years now. And I've been a traveling teacher most of my career. So this is, I was counting in my head, I think school 11 that I've been teaching at. And I honestly cannot say that, or I can honestly say, this is the most caring group of colleagues I've ever had. Like, this school is amazing. And I feel so grateful to be a part of this community and a part of this school every day. a little bit more about my presentation today too is my students are actually going to share part of my philosophy, which is to be tuneful, beatful, and artful. And that is something that I was taught, and they're going to explain more what that looks like and what that can hopefully mean for all of them throughout the years. So on the next slide, I will tell you a little bit too about some of the other activities that we get to participate here at Woodview. I did have a play-along club in October, which includes students playing instruments to different YouTube play-alongs. They got to play bells and xylophones and some other percussion instruments. Right now, we are working on a choir club, and some of the students that are actually all three of them that are speaking today also are going to this Awake Choir Festival that I've been bringing students to for a number of years. It's this really wonderful choir festival. This year it takes place at Lakeland University, and there's 4th through 8th grade students from around Wisconsin that come together and sing songs together, and we prepare for that ahead of time, and then they get to spend the whole day on the college campus and get to have the college lunch is part of the way I sell it. So that's always exciting, and then they get to perform on a college stage, so very exciting. And then in late February, I will be hosting a music technology club where they get to compose music using some different technology and websites out there. So on this slide, you're going to get to see one song from our concert. These are my 4th graders performing. And afterwards, my 3 4th graders are going to tell you how this represents their growth as tuneful, beatful, and artful musicians. Romans get to share first. McKinley. All right, go ahead.
Being tuneful means we think and sing various tunes with our best quality singing voice. In music class this year, we are singing many different songs, including rounds and partner songs. We are also learning how to use our voice in a healthy way. Perfect Winter Day is a partner song that we performed at our concert. We displayed our tuneful abilities by singing our best quality singing voices, as well as balancing our two different songs so they work together and not against each other.
Thanks, Roman.
Being beatful means we can keep a steady beat while singing, dancing, and playing instruments. We also work towards recognizing music in groups of 2s and 3s. To grow in this area, we play games, play instruments, and practice keeping a beat at the beginning of each music class. We used our beat-keeping abilities during a perfect winter day to put both songs together while not always singing at the same time. For example, when a group is singing Build a Snowman, group 2 has a rest before singing My Eyes Itch and My Nose is Clogged. This meant taking cues from the conductor as well as feeling the beat from the background track.
Being artful means we can move and sing with expression. We can recognize the emotion and feelings of different songs. In music class this year, we worked on becoming more artful by moving to music and exploring different ways to move and creating motions for our concert songs. During Perfect Winter Day, we displayed artfulness by showing the emotion of the song using facial expressions, movements, and the style of singing.
And then here's just a couple slides showing those same things. So here's some activities that we did for Tuneful, thinking and singing various tunes. Here's our Beatful, example of a game in 3rd grade. And then our Artful, these normally are the kids' favorite activities because they get to just explore. One of these, they're paper plate balancing and exploring how to move with paper plate on different body parts. And then my 2nd graders also got to practice creating movements for their concert pieces too. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, just to wrap it up, because you guys know I can't help myself there. I'm supposed to just feature one thing, but I have to show you everything. I just get so proud. So it's only 4 minutes, but there's just a snapshot video of some of the different things. We've had such great celebrations with the new curriculum and lots of. I'll say much. Go actually the end. I just wanted to give you guys a taste of, what they said is true. The staff that's here tonight and the staff that is here every day shows up and cares so much about our kids, and they perform well in so many different ways because of all of the fun that we create and the great time that we have together, but also because the adults really lean on each other and work together, and it is a really special place. So thanks for coming to see a little of Woodview. Do you have any questions? For me or the children, or the adults?
Couple comments. I jotted a few words down that came to my mind as we were watching all of this in terms of cooperation and collaboration among staff and the kids even in some of the demonstration with Brian's Ed class and putting the words together and the definitions. An engagement of the kids, holy cow, in music, to see the kids, acting things out, it's getting the kids engaged in those things. But I do have a question for Miss Borkenhagen back there, who I know, I'm not sure if she knows me, and her father is a spelling bee person too, but how do you practice for a spelling bee? Wow, that's very impressive. What was your word that you won on? Pigment. I think you should help Mr. Birch with spelling. Thank you.
No, just an observation. Roman sold y'all very short. He had the best air guitar of the entire presentation. No, but just Jill. Well, one, I had to look up who Brian was, and then I realized it was Coach Dinger. So thank you for clarifying. I hadn't seen the name like that before, but thank you for being here. No question for Jill. Just looking forward next, let's say 3 years. What are you looking forward to? What are you most excited about?
I think for me, watching in just this short amount of time the staff dive into the new curriculum and getting more and more comfortable with that, the feedback that I've gotten from staff and parents alike of the in-depth knowledge that students are getting at such a young age, I'm just really excited to see how that builds off of each other. The teachers are saying now, I can't wait till when they get to 5th grade, they actually have the leading up to it stuff rather than this year just first being exposed. And just continuing, to cultivate the environment that we have here. I do think that's why we're so successful, is because we all work together to bring really positive experiences to our kids.
My kids love being here. They feel, I think, the manner in which the teachers work together. And so it's glad that it's resonating with y'all, because it trickles down to the kids every day. And I thought pigment was some sort of breath device, so I would have spelled that wrong. So that's a great word. Didn't she say pigment?
Pigment.
Gotcha. California education, sorry.
Can we get a picture with them?
Yes.
Who did it? Thanks, you guys. That was awesome. Susie, staff. So why don't we have students and the staff come up? I'll move the
They got the memo.
Yes, thank you.
Back to the superintendent's report.
Yes, so we've already recognized Anna Borgenhagen for being our champion, our Grafton Spelling Bee. However, I want to thank Mary Carlton, Kayla Meyer, Lindsay Borner, Kim Junker, and Michael McMahon for all their hard work running the district-wide spelling bee and getting it all set up. If you were there, Mary just did a great job correctly pronouncing the words, making it easy for students to ask questions and be able to spell it correctly. But Chris, Jill, Michael, and Craig did a nice job either judging or helping with the final competition. On Wednesday, January 10th in the GHS auditorium, we had a total of 63 qualifiers that were up on the stage. And congratulations to all the students, but especially to Anna, as well as our finalists, Pranay Balaji and Sashwat Suryaraji from John Long Middle School. So 8th and 7th graders. So we had a 5th grader, an 8th grader, and a 7th grader, all serve as finalists. So all 3 students advanced to the CISA 1 Regional Spelling Bee, which will be held in person on February 16th. And then congratulations to senior Michael McNabb, who surpassed the Grafton High School all-time basketball scoring record on January 16th. The previous record of 1781 was set by Hannah Bellinger in 2019. Michael currently has 1,803 with more basketball games to come. I still recall being here at Woodview and recognizing Hannah and her parents when she set the scoring record. So we will, so we must have done it a month later. As I was talking to Steve about this, but when the season's over, we will invite Michael and his parents to come to the board to be recognized as the all-time leading scorer. So, but congratulations to him. Best wishes for them as many more games to go. We had our 4K information night was last Thursday night. So thanks to Craig Gunderson, Jill Schwensen, Kara Kane, and Tammy Kaczynski for all of their work promoting the event, as well as our 4K teachers, April Shanks and Carly Waldorf and Sarah Brightlow. The priority window for registration is now open through February 2nd, and parents can enroll at the district office Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 4, and the registration forms are available on the district website. So it's exciting to be thinking of this year, but also already planning ahead to next year. And then we have some special events in February that we recognize. We have Wisconsin School Bus Driver Appreciation Week, which is February 12th through the 16th. National School Counseling Week through February 5th through the 9th. So during those weeks, we'll take an opportunity to thank our counselors for all the work they do for our students across the district, as well as thank our school bus drivers at Right Way for all the work that they do, getting our students to and from school safely and to all of our extracurricular activities. And then February is Career and Technical Education Month, and we are excited for the first time ever to have the State Superintendent of Schools come and visit us on February 6th to see our CTE classes in session or in action. So we are planning, she's here from 9 to 10:30, and we'll be viewing multiple classes, seeing our teachers. We've worked with Mr. Vantine and Dr. McMahon. We've had 2 calls already with the state superintendent's schedulers or helpers or people in charge of CTE to organize the thing. So we're going to have some students that will serve as guides for her, and then take her around and just showcase some of the great things that are happening in our district. And it's great because the last referendum that we had actually supported this area very heavily, and to be able to now see someone from the state level come and see the great things we're doing and serve as an example for other districts across the state. We're super excited to showcase our high school and the work that our staff is doing on February 6th. And then the John Long Middle School expansion project update. Since we've come back from break, we are actively planning listening sessions, and we'll be working with our board communications committee to start developing a link on our website to share information, as well as postcards out to the community with listening session dates. We're going to be presenting at each of our buildings for their faculty meetings in February and March. And then for community sessions right now, we have February 29th and March 20th. And then we'll have other opportunities to engage with our community as well. As we create these things, we will create a Google Doc for the board so you can see, make sure we have a board member or 2 in attendance, or if multiple can make it, that'd be great. We'll sort of, depending on the audience, it may be Topher and I, it may be Topher and I and Chris, it may be Topher and I and Chris and someone from Growth Design or from CG Schmidt, depending on where we're at. One of the nights I'm at the Lions meeting presenting, and so that'll be a smaller group presenting. But when we have the big community sessions, such as we will on February 29th and March 20th, that will be where we'll have a team there presenting each aspect of the referendum, and having opportunities for people to ask questions and just have that information out in the community. So we will have all those sessions planned in the next week and begin promoting them both on our website as well as some communication to our community. Topher has some logistics to share that we've done since our last meeting as well.
Yeah, so we're working with Huffman Keel to develop an RFP to get a design firm on board. As we finalize that, with the goal of getting that RFP out at the end of this week, and then we'd be getting submissions back related to the RFP, and looking at having a design firm recommended by the Finance Committee at the March 11th Finance Committee meeting. At that point, then, we'd move toward creating an agreement between that firm that we select at that meeting to the full board April 22nd to get that approved. So they could be getting going on the design work that will need to start taking place after if the referendum is successful. The getting the construction firm on board, that happens later, as typically their work is going to begin once the design firm gets their schematic designs and such completed. That would happen more later in the summer. So that'll happen a little bit later, but be a similar timeline to what we did with the design team.
And then just two more things for you. I think I've lived in Wisconsin now for 30 years. And I have never seen a snowstorm like I saw in the last couple of weeks. So I want to thank Jamie Schofield and his team for all the work that they did, keeping our buildings open, keeping their things plowed, salted, just some really long hours. We had a tournament that was a fundraiser, and his team came in super early to try and help with that and get that area secured and safe. We were asked by the village, can we serve as a warming zone at the high school? His team immediately jumped in, of course we can. So just a lot of the work that they did. Pete Belkey works closely with Jamie when we lose power, making sure that our infrastructure needs are good. Jamie does a great job communicating with me. I get multiple texts. It's ironic when I get a text from him saying, John Long is out of power, because I reply, I know, because I'm out of power too, because I'm on John Long's grid. Ironically, Woodview is not on the same grid as John Long, so they don't necessarily both go out at the same time. But him and his team have just done a really great job over the last couple of weeks, and I want to publicly thank him and his team for all the work they've done. And then last but not least, First Lego League Challenge teams have completed. And so we had a total of 29 students in grades 5 through 8 make up Grafton's 5 FLL teams. Each team saw success at their regional tournament, with all of them receiving at least one award or nomination during the first round of competition, with 4 of them advancing to sectionals. 2 teams, the Cats, and I Am Up to No Good, were selected among the top 10% of teams in the state to compete at the Wisconsin State Championship in Madison on this past Sunday, January 21st. So Team I Am Up to No Good finished in 9th place in the robot game. 6th graders Genevieve Riley, Benjamin Rush, Colin Wiss, Lila Stahura, Henry Hogsett, Benjamin Crick, Kellen Siebert, and Ada Nestler were those students. And the Cats were awarded Rookie Team of the Year. 5th graders Jack Nelson, not my Jack Nelson, but ironic that it is the same name, and they would get emails when they were both at Woodview, which is ironic. Sophia Perkarski, Lucas Wagner, Logan Clark, and Anthony Clark. So these teams and more will be on display at the Robotic Expo on April 13th at GHS. Joe Riley serves as our coordinator for it and has just done a great job overall, but wanted to update the board and our community on the work that those students are doing and just the success they had this past weekend.
Excellent. Any questions for Jeff and Superintendent's report? Okay, thank you. Next, we will go to public comment. So I've not received any emails that I've forwarded on to the board, but I don't know if there's anyone here that would like to speak tonight. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Tracy Potter. I'm with the GEF. We're just doing a couple of dates. April 12th, that is our night of giving, so that date is set. The Zaki Nonprofit Center. We hope you all will be there. We're going to announce our Golden Apple Awards and then the 2024 GF recipients. The next date is June 5th. Actually, a board member for that. It is our color run. So that's really exciting. We're actually going to be doing that at John Long Middle School, kind of coming around through Woodview. So that's great as well. And we just like to thank you for your continued support with the GEF, and we look
look forward to working with you in the future. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Don Burgos. I have 2 boys at John Long Middle School. And I guess my comment today is just, I'm curious if the board has thought about adjusting the virtual learning on snow days for middle school and high school students. Being a father to middle school schoolers, I just feel like there's something magical about having a snow day. And I feel like that's lost when they have to have school. I saw it in both their faces, like there's the disappointment, the sadness, like the frustration. I think some of it's, for some students, PTSD of having COVID and being virtual and all that. But I think just the expectation, I feel like we can come up with better solutions to make up that time that's needed for our students. I've also talked to many other parents who feel the same way. Obviously, the students feel that way. I've also talked to staff members where they weren't able to enjoy the day with their younger kids because they were virtual teaching that day as well. So I know probably can't do much, but it'd be nice if you could survey parents. Maybe we do it. I know we do it end of year survey with parents. I don't know if that question's on there or could be on there. Just get some feedback on from the parent point of view. Is there other ways we could solve that minute problem so they're able to have a snow day? That's all. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Seeing none, we will go to item D, student overnight trip request.
Yes, Mr. Brown is here to talk to us about an exciting opportunity.
Yes. So, as Mr. Nelson said, I'm Joe Brown. I'm the director of bands at Grafton High School. I'm here to talk to you guys about our ideas for our 2025 spring break band and choir trip. So, as Doug Arndt said 2 years ago now, before, as he was proposing the Nashville trip, we are trying to continue doing this, have a trip every other year over spring break. So 2023, we got to go to Nashville, had an awesome 3 days, 4 nights in Nashville, and they got to do a lot of really cool things, record in RCA Studio B, perform at the Grand Ole Opry, see a show at the Opry, and that was amazing. And so our trip for 2025, we are hoping to go to New York City. It is through the same company that we went through last time. They were able to set up some really awesome opportunities for us last time. And if you guys have already had a chance to look at this, you will have seen that they have awesome opportunities for us. And if you haven't, you will see some of the awesome opportunities. Nashville 2023 was a huge success. We had 60 students. Which is a little over half of where the total music program is at the high school right now. So that was incredible. The largest class that didn't go were seniors at the time. And so I highly anticipate we are going to have more students going in 2025 since the next year's seniors were sophomores and got to go to Nashville, and we had a lot of them go to Nashville. I know just in the band program alone, I have 19 in that class, which is humongous compared to the other classes. So that trip was around $1,100, and so this one for 70 is the estimated number I chose. On this document here, there is a whole chart of about how much the trip would cost for different number of travelers. The thought is every other trip will be a little bit less expensive, like Nashville was, and then a little bit more expensive trip. That way we can balance some really, big ticket locations like New York City, and smaller ticket places like Nashville, which, Nashville had amazing opportunities, but it's not ever, kids here in New York City, like, yeah! When kids heard Nashville, there was some excitement. They were a little bit like, what's in Nashville? And they had a lot of fun there, but that's the idea behind this is we're going to try to alternate that way. Kids will have the opportunity to go on a really big trip every other year. So like I said, the same company, they were able, all of the stuff during the trip was able to go really smoothly. Their tour directors are incredible, guided us through the whole, they put one on each bus. So usually each bus fits 50 people, so We will probably have 2 buses like we did in Nashville, so we'll have 2 tour directors with us. And they were incredible last time, where, answered kids' questions, were very knowledgeable about all the, the itineraries we had. It allowed myself and Mr. Arndt to, be able to relax a bit and just kind of make sure everything is running smoothly while not having to be completely in charge. And that was, that's something we're looking for in a tour company. So included, we will be flying to this destination. So it's a little further than Nashville was, and as we ran into about 2 weeks before the Nashville trip, the bus company this travel company and most bus companies have stopped doing overnight trips. So, a New York trip would require an overnight stay, which adds an extra day, which adds a lot of extra costs. So, flights are much more cost effective for a trip like this. Busing around New York City is included in the trip. Tour directors, 3 nights, hotel with breakfast, a lunch, and 3 dinners, and then all of the activities that are listed in the sample itinerary, which this is pretty much everything that's on this itinerary, would happen barring just, the place itself. They can't book that specific thing. Just a few highlights. Day 1, we'll fly there and we'll get to perform at the Edge, which is definitely the highest in the U.S., and I don't know if it's the world or not, but it is one of the highest panoramic views in the world, and so that we'll be able to perform there. Day 2, we'll visit Central Park, and then really this is why I picked New York of the options. We will get a Broadway workshop. So in the evening, we're going to go see a Broadway show. But during the afternoon, both band and choir will have opportunities to work with the musical directors. So the choir will get to work with the vocal directors and some vocalists, and the band will get to work with the instrumental directors and a vocalist who will be singing while we're playing the music. And so all the music we'll be working on during those clinics will be for the show we're going to see that evening. So that's just something that I was immediately very excited about, because that's not something that you get very often. So that's going to be incredible. The kids will be very excited for that one. So we'll get to see that Broadway show. We'll get to they'll give us the options for what is available that week. In the fall is their best estimate. Whenever they come out with the schedule for next spring, they will send us the options and we will be able to choose that. Day 3 is a little bit more sightseeing with the 9/11 Memorial Museum. There's a possible performance at the One World Observatory that's based on availability, so that would be one of the things that is kind of up to is the venue itself available for us. And then we'll see Times Square, and also I believe the financial district is during that day as well. So day 3 is a lot more sightseeing. And then day 4, we get to see the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum before returning back. And we will be shuttled from Grafton High School to the airport. So families will not be responsible for getting their kid to the airport. And it could be either Chicago O'Hare or Milwaukee, depending on the flights. And the information that's been given to me is they will pick whichever airport will give us the cheapest flight option. They'll be able to get us that. Okay. One challenge that we will run into with this, especially traveling with instruments. So, we will still be deciding on exactly how we are going to proceed on that. What I have been told most bands do, and what we will probably do, is we can have someone drive with a trailer that will have all the instruments. This is a way that we could have someone that's directly responsible for them. We don't trust the airlines with them, with the very expensive instruments, whether they're school district instruments or student instruments. We don't have to put those in the hands of the airlines, that they get to New York and back safely, as well as we can just travel them, get them to New York all together at once, and it will give us actually a few more opportunities to bring especially percussion instruments, and we have a lot of percussionists in the program, so being able to have more variety of the instruments we can bring, the trailer will be able to give us a lot more options that way. Other options that could happen are especially large instruments could be rented, like tubas. It's going to be really hard to fly with tubas and percussion instruments. So,
Is that a carry?
yeah. So, one thing that is a possibility is renting them, but that's very expensive to rent instruments for just a few days. That being able to travel with them in a trailer altogether will be much easier. And last but not least, fundraising, because this cost is, on each student and on each family. We will be starting fundraising. We've already done some fundraising for this year. The mattress sale last year went towards funding for this year. We did a Little Caesars fundraiser in the fall, and I will be starting that again here either next week or early February. And that's a very easy one that the kids, we've had several kids. I know the Nashes paid for like half his trip for the couple of Little Caesars fundraisers we did. So that is one that we do. It's very easy for us to set up because we can just say, okay, we're going to do it from these dates, send out a link to the families, and they're able to sell. It's like take-home pizza kits. And the kids get $6 from every purchase, and I think the kits are $10 to $12 or so. So they get a large percentage of the money back to them, and we allocate that right to their funds. We do the mattress fundraiser annually in May. The students that help out, or they have flyers that people bring in with that student's name on them, that is money that can go straight to them. We've earned, in the 2 years we've done this, the last 2 years, we've earned about a little over $5,000 each time total. A lot of students have put a lot towards their trips, Nashville, really, that way. So, and then there are other possibilities that we can explore and go ahead as we continue this process.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? Certainly sounds like a great opportunity. Okay. So with that, I would look for a motion to approve the GHS Music Band and Choir for their 2025 spring break trip to New York City.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes. Have a great time and send pictures. Excellent. E, personnel report.
Yes, so we have a new hire that we'd ask for approval for, as well as 2 resignations, and then we have some informational pieces. So Daniel Kane, science teacher at Grafton High School. He was our student teacher in the fall and now is taking over teaching in the second semester. And then resignation of Lynn Anderson, district deaf and hard of hearing teacher, and Lisa Didier, special education teacher at Woodview Elementary School. And then informational for a new hire, we have Tyler Prouty, special education aide at Grafton High School, and resignation of Joy Steltenful, administrative assistant at district office.
All right, any questions for Jeff on the superintendent, on the personnel report? Okay, so we'll do these in 2. All right, so first we will look for a approval of the new hire of Daniel Kane, science teacher, Grafton High School. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes. We welcome Daniel. And then a resignation for Lynn Anderson, district deaf and hard of hearing teacher, as well as Lisa Didier, special education teacher, Woodview Elementary School. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes as well, and we wish both Lynn and Lisa luck in the future. All right. F, approval of open open enrollment seats for 2024, 2025.
All right, good evening. As you know, in January, we set open enrollment seats for the following year. So just to take a trip down memory lane, we can look at our open enrollment for this year as of our second Friday count, which was quite exciting because it actually fell on the 12th, which was the snow day. So it's actually the 11th for our second Friday count this year due to that snow day. But you can see that last January you had approved 45 open enrollment seats. We got more applications than we had seats available, and we had 30 new enrollments to us for this school year. You can see on the next page where our students are coming in and out from. So students into our district, the majority of our open enrollment in are coming from Port Washington, Saukville, and Cedarburg. And then our resident students attending out of district are going top two places, Cedarburg or Port Washington, Saukville. But the great news is Grafton is a net positive district as far as open enrollment seats. We have a positive of 77 students. And I looked back at our data all the way back into 2009, and every year we've been a net positive district, which is great. People want to come here because it's great to be here. So this year, what we're recommending, if you recall, we just talked about last year was 45 seats. The year before that was 87 seats, and the year prior to that was 78. But this year, due to increasing resident enrollment, we want to be really mindful of those open enrollment seats. So we are recommending 34 general education seats be set for the 24-25 school year, along with 0 in special education. We do not have space in our special education programs. So that is our recommendation to approve the 34 seats as indicated there across those grade levels, and including all tuition waivers for the coming school year. Any questions?
The majority of those open seats being in 6th grade as well as freshmen.
What's that?
Being in 6th grade and then at the freshman level at the high school.
Yeah, those, based on our projected enrollment and capacity, we just have a little bit more availability to offer open enrollment seats at our 6th grade and freshman level.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I would look for a motion to approve the 34 seats as indicated in the table and all tuition waivers for the 24-25 school year. The administration may continue accepting students in the event more seats become available than projected in the table above after July 1st. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes as well. Thank you very much. Item G, 24-25 school year calendar.
Yes, we continue to look forward to next year. This calendar that the administration is recommending is very similar to this year's calendar, which we're halfway through, as we start second semester tomorrow. You'll notice there's 172 elementary student days, 176 secondary student days, those 3 teacher professional development, grade 6-12 virtual learning days in the first semester, 199 teacher days. Once again, the students' first day of school vary based on their grade level. So at the high school, they have 9th grade only on September 3rd, PM with all students. And then the middle school has 6th grade only on the 3rd with all students on the 4th. And Kennedy and Woodview will start on the 4th because they will have great start conferences on the 29th and the 30th. Spring break is March 24th through the 31st, which aligns with our other area school districts. We've talked about this multiple times where districts have tried to make sure we're all on the same page so it just doesn't create issues for families, whether you work in our district, someone else goes there, or vice versa. You have kids here and you're working somewhere else, or even our athletic areas, that having a consistent spring break is really conducive for continuity for everyone in our region. One of the changes that we do have is that an issue that elementary staff were concerned about was in October with our parent-teacher conferences revolving around Halloween. And so they had asked, Jill and Craig went back to their elementary staff and worked with them to say, what would you prefer? So they have asked it to be broken up. So elementary would occur, they'd have evening parent-teachers conferences on the 24th, is when they would have that. And then, so you can see on the bottom of the staff calendar in the little fine print, you'll see that it's the 24th, EC through 5th. Then they would come back on the 29th at night, whereas the middle school and high school, after speaking with teacher groups there, they said that they preferred to have it during the same week. So even though Halloween will be on the 31st, they did not want to move away from that. So they're still going to have their 2 nights on the 30th and 31st, and then everyone will have conferences in the morning on November 1st. But that is one of the changes that was driven by our teachers, and hoping that the elementary, they're going to try that to see if that's a better fit for them and not have it be a concern with Halloween. The activities going on that week was a concern that they had. So that's a big change. You can see that it's a it's a little unique in that we have a full week back. Typically, you've had a 4-day week at the beginning for PD. This year it's 5 days because of just how the school year starts. And as a reminder, you can't start school sooner than September 1st. And so the way that Labor Day falls, we start on the 3rd. So there isn't an option with that. And then you'll see heading into June that students go through the 11th and staff go through the 13th. Otherwise, it mirrors what we've been doing. Any questions I can take on that?
Snow day question. I think it's a calendar related deal.
It is.
If those weren't virtual, how would that impact the calendar?
So we would look to, we have a little over a day that is in this calendar built in. So that's why the first day that we have snow is a snow day. And then when you have subsequent ones, we've said 6/12 to have school during that time. If we were to not do that, then we would have to look at either a day where we currently have planned off. So for example, February 21st or February, which is a teacher professional development day, could easily be a student day. You're already having teachers here, so they wouldn't be making plans for a trip or a day off. They'd be working. You could have a day of school that day. You could also do that on the 31st of March. You could have school on that day. Some parents might have planned a extended time for spring break, or you could extend your school day, which would create problems for us with busing. Just as starting school earlier would create problems with busing. We've had to, at the high school level, reduce Black Hawk time to get rid of, a number of years ago, we did pre-COVID, we reduced Black Hawk time, which then would take away that 30 minutes a day at the beginning of the day, 4 days a week, where students are able to get help, come in and do makeups, do some of those things that our students that are extremely busy or after the school day need to have transportation for their siblings, so can't stay after. So that would take that opportunity away, but you'd have to basically build in another 6 hours of time to be able to do that. You could extend the school year to June 12th. You'd be basically looking at what is the best, worst option, or we'd add more days. You could add more days on the front end to say we're going to go longer into the summer, and then if you don't have a snow day, then you just have more instructional time. If you had multiple snow days, it's unusual for us to have multiple. Especially, I remember us having multiple cold days a couple of years ago, but to have it both within a week of each other is really unique, at least in my experience. But that's where virtual has come in to help us not have to make modifications to our calendar that goes with that.
Is that true at the middle school? Because right now it's 6-12. Is it the same amount of minutes are required 6 through 8 as 9 through 12?
It is not. The middle school has less time required than 9 through 12. There's a number of our classes that are aligned to high school that then would create an issue for students who would be taking that course that is going into the next course level, and especially if you have multiple days. So if we have 3 days, like what's the, where would you draw the line? So if we say 2 days, we'll let the second day be a snow day for 6/12 or 6/8, but then on the third day would they go to school? What would that do for some of the continuity that go with some of those classes?
Yeah, I was just thinking that the high schoolers, depends on the timing, but I know like several high schoolers who were actually very happy that it was a virtual day, because with finals coming up, they actually, they had quite a bit of work and questions that they were trying to get answered prior to finals, so.
Yeah, and I would say that I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but we talked about this at leadership, that our attendance 612 was really strong across the board. And do you guys have, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I will.
We talked about today, our faculty, share with our faculty, we're at or just a little bit above 90% for the day, which is a little bit lower than a typical day, but certainly great for virtual. And the feedback that I have heard as well, and positive in terms of the day being close to exams. They really wanted to be able to connect with their teachers with our AP schedule versus having some small durations.
You know off the top of your head?
I don't.
Okay.
I would say that we're really in alignment with what they saw. And I know at the high school, they made contact with every student that was not in attendance virtually. And we very much had the same situation where we would have teachers reaching out about a single student and making contact with them. So very good attendance at the middle school as well.
So what I'm hearing is we could approve this framework and explore the virtual middle school conversation, separate tracks. There's enough area to work. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, then I will look for a motion to approve the recommended 24-25 school year calendar.
So moved.
Second. Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, and that passes. Thank you. H, 2023-24 second quarter budget report.
Yeah, so each quarter, we bring a budget report to the board for review, just to take a look at how the budget is performing relative to expected. And so really only a couple things to talk about this quarter. That would be in Fund 10, the other objects piece, where because of some year-end adjusting entries from last year that kind of inflate the expenses in that other objects category. Again, those are netted out with revenues as well. Makes it look like we are, on a percentage basis, spending at an accelerated rate, but when you look at the actual dollar amount we're spending in those areas, it's tracking pretty similarly to last year. And then in Fund 27, similar to the first quarter, we did have some textbook purchases that were made earlier this year that has that number higher than the prior year, especially on a percentage basis. Otherwise, really nothing a whole lot to report for this second quarter budget report.
Questions for Topher, information only? Thank you, Topher. We will go to I, state assessments overview. Michael.
We are quickly approaching assessment season, which is then quickly followed by data analysis season. But this spring, we will be reviewing our testing processes with you tonight and then seeking approval for our opt-out options here in Grafton. So this spring, our high school students will be taking the ACT on March 19th. That is the English, reading, math, science, and writing. And on that same day, our 9th and 10th graders will be doing the ACT Secure, and that's English, reading, math, and science. It'll be the all-encompassing testing day, similar to what we've done in the fall, and so we're going to try that for the first time this spring. Forward exam is our 3rd through 8th grade exam in English and math, with 4th and 8th, and then 10th also taking science and social studies, science or social studies just in 10th. And then we also have the dynamic learning maps. That assessment will occur after spring break. Our elementary, middle school staff will work on what that schedule will look like. We'll communicate to families. Typically, we do that the second week after spring break. We let kids get back into the routine, and then we'll take that forward exam, which then ultimately tells us how many of our students are proficient in reading and math, which we're excited to look at our board retreat. The opt-out options that we have, basically, the state statute references that parents or guardians can excuse their children in certain grade levels, and then the other options outside those grade levels would be driven by the board. And so over the last number of years, we've sought your approval to give parents permission to opt out. One thing we have noticed is an increase in opt-outs, and so one thing we'd like to do is have a conversation with those parents. In the past, they've been able to leave a voicemail or send an email, and so what we've done is created kind of a step-by-step process to talk through the why of why we need those assessments and how it helps your child. And so what we're looking to do is require parents to have a written letter that's sent in to opt out rather than an email or phone call. And so similar to last year, in years past, a parent might email, and then our school counselor, school psych, or principal will have a conversation and say the why behind assessment, and maybe just putting that next step to help parents, encourage parents to take the test is what we're seeking. So seeking your approval to recommend or the approval of written parent requests for us to approve those opt-outs as administrators. Questions about the assessments or the opt-out process?
So if a parent does reach out and wants to opt out, you'll give them the why, but you'll also provide them with the forms so that they know exactly what they need to do.
Yep, it would be a written letter that we'd ask them to submit. Yep.
Okay. All right, any questions for Michael? Okay, I would look for a approval of written parental request for testing opt-out at all tested grade levels.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes. Thank you. J, gift reports.
Yes, one of them being very timely for the Village of Grafton with Amber Thomas as the Director of Public Works. We have a restricted gift for both the Woodview PTG as well as the Kennedy PTG of the large boulder and transport and placement on site, valued at $1,000 each. And then we have our Grafton Athletic Booster Club with Ben Brehan as the president, who have made a restricted gift to the Grafton High School boys basketball in the amount of $500 for the Haley Lannon Memorial Basketball Invite sponsorship. So we'd ask for board approval for both of those.
Any questions on the gifts as presented? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the mentioned gift on the gift report.
So moved.
Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes, and we say thank you to each of them for that.
Yes.
All right. So Jill, thank you again. Obviously evident through the presentations, you know, the passion and the energy and the fun that's taking place here. So great job to both you and Craig, and now Chris, you're on deck. So, great job. Thank you again for hosting us. The Board of Education will consider a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Section 1, subsection C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for purposes of considering 1, teacher compensation, 2, administrator contracts, and 3, performance-related data of the superintendent. Do we have a motion? I have a first and a second. We'll do a voice vote. Bob?
Yes.
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 And yes, we're enclosed. Thank you.
Thank you.